Bonjour, mes amis. Welcome, everyone, as we finish taking our seats. I mean to rush no one. Welcome, everyone, to the First Unitarian congregation of Ottawa. Whether you are here in Worship Hall or watching from wherever you may be, you are welcome here. I'm the Reverend Eric Meter, this congregation's lead pastor, and I'm thrilled to be with all of you as we gather in the winter time of autumn on this beautiful, beautiful mid-November morning. This morning I am joined by our worship associate Guy and our music director Jen. You'll notice that some young ones are back in the hall with us. Again, please don't be disturbed. If any of them or anyone of any age gets up and moves around this space quietly, all legs need to stretch now and then. And now let us sing. Do your legs need to stretch? Mine do. Yeah. And now let us sing. Our opening song may be known to many of you. I have to admit, however, it is new to me, and I'm looking forward to learning it. Please rise as you are willing and able. We will be supported in singing Rafi's All I Really Need.
Food in my Good morning, everyone. Once again, welcome to the First Unitarian Congregation of Ottawa. My name is Guy, and I'm delighted to be your worship associate this morning. Whether you're taking part in this worship celebration from our home, from your home, or wherever else you may be, whenever you may log on, you are welcome here. We acknowledge that our FirstU campus is located on traditional, unsurrendered, and unceded Algonquin Anishinaabe territory, and that the work of reconciliation is a responsibility of our congregation and of all Canadians. Our goal is to educate ourselves and all those that have the willingness to understand, to be of service to those who are at risk, and to advocate for justice. Do take care and take advantage of online opportunities at FirstU to stay in touch during this protracted pandemic. If you are new to FirstU and would like to learn more about us, please contact us through our email at welcome@firstunitarianottawa.ca. And of course, if you're right here in Worship Hall with us this morning and you would like more information about FirstU, it's available at the welcome table right at the back of the pews. And there's the lovely Mary waving to let us know where it is. And now here's Casey Price from our board to highlight our announcements for today.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all excited for the fall congregational meeting next Sunday at 1 p.m. Please note there's a small change in plans. It will not be in person as previously announced, but it will be on Zoom like it has been due to COVID-related logistics, of course. You'll need to pre-register in advance to receive your personal Zoom link, and please plan to join the Zoom link at 12:30 next Sunday to complete our registration process and enjoy some online fellowship beforehand. Links to the meeting documents, including the proxy form, as well as the Zoom pre-registration link, they were already emailed to members and are in this week's EUU, our weekly email newsletter. At the fall congregational meeting, there will be a brief overview of our finances to date, and there will be presentations of and a vote on our 2023 budget. If you want a more in-depth discussion of our finances, there will be 2 additional Zoom meetings with the treasurer and financial manager. These are on Monday, November 21st at 7 p.m. and on Thursday, November 24 at 10 a.m. The Zoom link is, of course, available in the weekly EUU. The Cleary Detour is going to take effect on Monday morning. I hope you're ready. People will enter the campus at the new temporary traffic light at Christie's. Please watch for new signs if you haven't seen them already, and slow down as everyone gets used to the new detour. If you don't really understand what's going on, feel free to talk to me afterwards. I know exactly where it is. And I also want everyone to know that you're invited to our online fellowship hour at 11:30 a.m. for informal discussion and updates regarding our community. And now let's hear from Donna with our weekly environmental action group announcement.
Excuse me, Donna, just a moment. Just a moment, I'd like to clarify an error up here online. It shows that the choir concert is, you can see what it says there, it's not then. It's Sunday, December the 4th at 4:30. So please get that in your mind, not what's up here. Sunday, December 4th at 4:30. Please come out and join us.
Hi, everybody. I'm Donna Bowen-Weller with the EAG announcements. So there was a small but mighty group who braved the cold at the extension cord protest yesterday. And we were cheering while representatives from Hydro-Quebec and Ottawa Hydro connected. Extension cords, that is, bringing power across the bridge. What a good idea. Maintain, do not cancel our clean hydro agreement with our neighbor. Indeed, increase it. Our other focus, Bill 23, the More Homes Built Faster Act. This bill will not build the kind of houses we need, where we need them, and will have significant impacts on housing for the most vulnerable. It threatens to deprive Ontario of its ecosystem and habitat protection, biodiversity, and food security. It will seriously impair Ontario's ability to cope with and prevent further climate change. This is really serious. So read further on the climate action page. Our board contributed a letter with their concerns to the committee on Thursday. That closed down. There wasn't much time to do it. And what can you do? Well, if you check on the climate action page, under the advocacy section, there are 2 petition letters which you can sign to with two different groups to a number of politicians. Under the action, we've included a letter which you can adapt and email to Premier Ford, copying it to other leaders. There are addresses, links to addresses as well. And if you prefer, there are hard copies, a few hard copies at the back with letters and envelopes, and you can sign them and we can mail them for you. So you can do 1, or you can do 2, or you can do all 3 of those things. So thanks a lot. Have a good week.
Good morning, everyone. I am not Terry Kimball, or this is the new look of Terry Kimball, whichever way you want it. Just here to give a brief update on the pledge campaign. Next slide, please. Here's the thermometers. As you'll note, these are the numbers as of November 14th. We've actually improved upon that a little bit. We're now up at 60% participation and about 26K or so to go to reach our financial target. The details of which are on the excuse me, on the board at the back by the name tags. Please take a look at it, examine it. There could be a quiz afterwards. So, yes, pledge calling is underway, as you can sort of see. Or to use a biblical term or reference, pledging participation begets the pledge amount total and whatever level and mode your begetting takes. Now, a brief set of sample testimonial statements. Thank you, everyone. Happy pledging.
During the continuing pandemic, we encourage you to sign up to receive the EUU, our weekly email newsletter. You can also check our Facebook page and our Instagram page and our web page for notices and updates. Our calendar continues to be as full as ever, though many activities are still taking place online. Whatever your heritage, whatever your faith, whomever you love, and however you identify, today you are a part of our spiritual community. Welcome.
Thank you, Casey, Larry, Jen, and our singers, and Guy. This morning we light our chalice to these words from Marjorie or Midge Squire. And if anyone would like to help me light the chalice in just a little bit, I need all the help I can get. Just ask my wife. Please come forward. But these are Midge Squire's words. Children all, we come together in faith and hope to find what meaning life holds for us, to laugh and sing with one another, to soothe the daily wounds of life, and to grow together in wisdom and love. Just like that. All right. Our chalice is lit. Come, let us worship together. In just a moment, our guest speaker this morning, Caterina Pace, will share our story. But to introduce her to you, and I don't know how many people know her or how many of you she knows. Caterina has been the executive director of River Parkway Children's Center and its sibling River Heights Children's Center since 2012, 10 years now. She has worked with children for 30 years and has worked alongside Mary Gordon to deliver the Roots of Empathy program in some Ottawa schools. I am just learning about that program. It is rich and deep and necessary. So, Caterina, would you come forward now? And let's have a story for everyone. Angus, all aglow.
Reverend. Thank you, Reverend. Could I ask you to hold the mic while I read the story? I have to say, I have the same issue with the word Angus. I had a friend, Agnes, in school, and every time I read this story, I want to say Agnes. Anyhow, good morning. Okay, the story we've chosen today is Angus All Aglow. It is a favorite from the River Parkway Children's Center Library. It is a Canadian story written by Heather Smith and illustrated by Alice Carter. Alice Carter is one of our board member, Lavon Carter's daughter. It is just a lovely little heartwarming story. Angus All Aglow. Angus liked sparkly things. The rainbow sequence on his sister's tutu, the sun's reflection on Baker Lake in summer, the diamond studs on the collar of his dog Sherlock. Can you see my story? No worries. Angus liked sparkly words too. Lustrous rolled off his tongue, scintillating made his eyebrows dance. Just saying the word gleaming made his mouth smile. Glistening was his favorite because hidden in glistening is listening, and Angus liked sparkly things so much he felt as though he could hear them. The nighttime stars crackled like a campfire. The metal taps on his sister's dance shoes whiz-bang popped like fireworks. His sapphire-studded scissors sizzled like frying bacon. Angus's favorite sparkly thing of all was Grandma June's necklace. It had 5 strands of colorful glass beads that sounded like popcorn being popped in a metal pot. One day, Grandma June noticed Angus admiring her necklace. She slipped it over his head. "It's all yours," he said. She said. Angus felt a twinkling deep inside his belly. It was an inner sparkle, fizzy and warm. Agnes glowed from the inside out. The next morning, Angus decided to wear Grandma June's necklace to school. His sister said, "Angus, that necklace doesn't really match the rest of your outfit. Why don't you wear a scarf instead?" Why don't you? Angus said, "Scarves don't sparkle." His father said, "Why don't you save that necklace for a special occasion like Mardi Gras?" Angus said, "Why can't every day be Mardi Gras?" His mother said, "Angus, the thing is, the necklace is really, really bright." Angus said, "That's the point, Mom." Heads turned as Angus walked into the classroom. Could they hear the popping too? Johnny Cole put his face in his hands and yelled, "My eyes, my eyes!" Others joined in, "Too bright, too bright." Brett Andrews said, "Sparkles, Angus? Really? Sparkles?" His classmates' laughter was like a downpour of freezing rain. Angus ran into the hallway where the inner sparkle fizzled like a wet firecracker. He tried to pull the necklace over his head, but the strands twisted together. A thick loop got caught on his ear. Angus yanked hard. The glass beads seemed to lose their colors as they bounced off the floor. The only sound Angus could hear was a shower of sad plinkety plunks. Just then, Melody Daniels appeared. As she stepped into the hallway, her foot bumped a lone bead. It rolled towards Angus. It seemed to move in slow motion. Angus and Melody followed it with their eyes. They watched it as it rolled to a wibbly-wobbly stop. Against the rubber sole of Angus's sneaker, Angus frowned and kicked the bead away. Then, turning his back on Melody, he walked back into the classroom. That night, Angus went to his sister's dance recital. Tap shoes glimmered and sequins shimmered, but Angus didn't hear a whiz-bang or a pop. At bedtime, Sherlock snuggled in close, but the diamond stud on his collar jabbed and poked. Angus just pushed Sherlock away. The next morning, under the red maple tree, Melody was waiting for Angus. In her hand was a brown paper bag. She reached in and scooped out a handful of beads. It was a pretty necklace, she said. It looked like a party on a string. She brought the beads to her ear. Sounds like popping candy. You know, the kind that fizzles in your mouth? Suddenly, the world around Angus exploded with sound. The beads in Melody's hands crickle-crackle popped like hot kernels. The ruby buttons on her cardigan buzzed like a bazillion fireflies. Rainbow ribbons in her hair cling-clang rang like a parade. The two friends sat together admiring the beads while the leaves of the red maple sizzled above. Melody pulled a ribbon from her hair. "Maybe you can make a new necklace." Angus had a better idea. With his sapphire-studded scissors, he snipped the ribbon in two and threaded beads on each piece. He struggled to tie the ends. "I can help," said Melody. Together they made two new bracelets. Angus passed one to Melody. "It's all yours." Melody beamed. Angus clutched the second bracelet in his hand. His fingers tingled as the beads hummed with happiness. But underneath the thrum, 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 Angus could hear a dark whisper. My eyes, too bright, too bright." His inner sparkle quivered like a flickering flame. Melody reached out and touched the bracelet. "It matches your outfit perfectly," she said. The dark whisper disappeared like a wisp of smoke on the breeze. Angus slipped the bracelet over his hands. The beads sizzled, sazzled, and zapped like lightning. Every head churned as Agnes and Melanie walked into the classroom. Angus glowed from the inside out. Thank you.
Caterina. Our centering words this morning are from Andrew Kennedy. We come to love a church, the traditions, the history, and especially the people associated with it. And through these people, young and old, known and unknown, we reach out, both backward into history and forward into the future, to link together the generations in this imperfect but blessed community of memory and hope.
Thank you, Guy. We'll give it a minute for our young ones and their minders to go off to their next activities. Each week, we take this moment to pause in honor of those times in our lives, times of joy, times of sadness, times of struggle. We do so by placing small stones in a pool of water, just like that. As the ripples expand to the edge of the bowl and beyond, through this hall and outside to the community at large. This morning, I drop a stone for Jan Steinmetz, a longtime member of our sibling congregation, the Kingston Unitarian Fellowship, who began worshiping with us just a year ago. She died at the tail end of October, and a memorial service was held in Kingston for her this last week. And a stone for an anonymous member of our congregation who wrote me this week and said, "Eric, this is a time we call joys and sorrows, but so often the stones are for sorrows. Where's the balance with the joy?" And I told them, "Good point. Let me think about that." And I had one thought, which I ran by my wife this morning, and that is, I will choose something from the news of the week that is happy and use that unless I hear something better from you. How does that sound? Does that sound like that'll work? I'm seeing hands raised. So, I'm holding you to it. A stone for bargains well made. For recognizing that there are sorrows, but so many moments of happiness and joy as well. A stone also for all the things we carry in the silent sanctuary of our hearts, joys and sorrows both. There's a caring card for Jan's family. Please sign it at the back of the hall at the end of this time of reflection. Even if you had not met Jan, these cards mean a lot to those who receive them. It is a way of extending the love and care of this community. Let us gather now in a moment or two of stillness and quiet meditation before Jen brings us back together again on piano.
Wow. These words are from A Journal of a Solitude by May Sarton. It is only when we can believe that we are creating the soul that life has any meaning. But when we can believe it, and I do and always have, then there is nothing we do that is without meaning, and nothing that we suffer that does not hold the seed of creation in it.
Alice to the stage now to perform Cape Breton Lullaby. I also will take this moment to mention that anyone who you hear singing a hymn today is doing so very last minute because I don't have a voice. So thank you to everyone who's doing that at the last minute so that you have something to listen to other than the piano, especially those at home online. Thank you.
That's going to be a tough act to follow. Good morning, and thank you for the invitation to speak with you on National Child's Day. I first want to start by acknowledging all the children and extending a joyful National Child's Day to each of them. Today is a day we are all grateful for. It is the occasion where we honor the younger generations who will shape the future of our nation. National Child Day is celebrated annually to mark two historic events. In 1959, the signing of the UN Declaration of the Rights of the Child, and the adoption of the 1989 UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. In 1959, the UN General Assembly adopted the Declaration of the Rights of the Child, which defines children's rights to protection, education, health care, shelter, and good nutrition. In 1989, the Convention of the Rights of the Child was adopted. The Convention is the most widely ratified international human rights treaty in history. The Convention changed the way children are viewed and treated. The vision of the Convention is to offer rights and responsibilities to each child to enable them to reach their full potential and become capable, contributing members of society. The four guiding principles of the Convention on the Rights of the Child are respect for the best interest of the child, the right to survival and development, the right for children to express their views freely with all matters affecting them, and the right of children to enjoy all the rights of the Convention on the Rights of the Child without discrimination of any kind. Much has been accomplished worldwide in all these areas since the adoption of the Convention, from declining infant mortality to rising school enrollment, but still much remains to be done. In most developing countries, children and young people make up most of the population. If the children are truly to shape the future, we must strive to ensure that children are aware of their rights and that these rights are observed, protected, and safeguarded. When children have more knowledge about their rights, they are able to advocate for themselves if they need to. There's never a better time to advocate for the Convention of the Rights of the Child than National Child's Day. In honor of National Child's Day, one of this year's themes is equity and inclusion for every child. I'll let that sit for a moment. What does that mean? And why is that relevant today? It is very relevant today, as it was the day the Convention of the Rights of the Child was written. Although we live in a great community, there are still vulnerable children experiencing homelessness, mental health issues, disabilities, immigrants in detention, and Indigenous children needing our support. If we take a moment to think about our children and how we can create a world that is fit for all children, I believe we can build from these experiences and achievements from the past decade to shape our future. In 2002, the General Assembly of Nations met and concluded that prioritizing the rights of children and devoting to their survival and their protection and development, we would serve the best interests of all humanity and ensure the well-being of all children. I believe what this translates to is equality and inclusion for every child, no matter their gender, race, sexual orientation, nationality, ability, or any other factor. As I mentioned earlier, there is still much to do. What we can do to support vulnerable children in our own communities. Advocate, be informed, vote for governance that is child-sensitive, and share awareness and education through media outlets where possible. Canada is only ranked 25th out of 41 of wealthy countries for the well-being of children. We need to do better. Canada is home to approximately 18 million children and youth. That is 25% of our population. In 1968, the Unitarian congregation had a vision for children, and that vision still lives on today. 50 years ago, who would have thought that justice, equality, inclusion, and compassion were at the forefront of the service we deliver daily at River Parkway Children's Center and River Heights Children's Center? We and some of our community partners and stakeholders, such as the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario, the City of Ottawa, and Children's Integrated Support Services, continue to be grateful for the partnership that was forged years ago. Every day, we welcome children and families into our centers and create an environment of acceptance and accommodation for children with diverse needs and abilities. The Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario and Children's Integrated Support Services are pediatric services that provide the ongoing support for some of our children that require just a little extra care. The City of Ottawa, our main funding supporter, is instrumental in ensuring that both of our centers provide licensed, high-quality early learning and care programs. The federal government is currently rolling out a new national childcare system that will make early learning and care more affordable for families. The Canada-wide early learning and childcare system will eventually mean $10 a day for childcare. The government is allocating a significant $30 billion investment over 5 years. This would help create new employment and get parents back into the workforce. Best of all, it ensures every child has a best start in life. The system will support quality, affordability, accessibility, and inclusivity in all learning licensed childcare centers. This is a step in the right direction for children and families. At this time, I would like to acknowledge the many partnerships we have shared with FirstU. Special thank you to the congregants for inviting us to the many discussion tables over the years and committing FirstU members to take part on our ongoing board membership. We always enjoy the sharing of information and hearing about the many projects that are evolving around FirstU. River Parkway Children's Centre is looking forward to a smooth transition in the ongoing and exciting development of this campus. I was recently asked a question that stood out for me in my day-to-day work at the centers. The question was regarding what the current trends were for the registered early childhood educators and what they were observing. I personally thought that the impact of COVID-19 on children's social skills would be the largest current trend, but the COVID-19 isolation time did not significantly affect our children integrating into social settings for the very first time. The children have been, for the most part, very resilient entering into childcare programs without any prior exposure, just mom, dad, their pets, and their siblings. Currently, we are seeing a larger and more parent families. Same-sex parent children is very pure and very, very rich. When children are chatting about their families, this is how they see and relate to their world. The children are learning about themselves and construct their own identity within the context of their families and communities. We are continually adapting our programming to meet the changing needs of all the families we serve. In closing, I would like to leave you with a short African proverb that a colleague recently shared with me, and it resonated with my thoughts for today. Among the most accomplished and fabled tribes of Africa, no tribe was considered to have warriors more fearsome or more intelligent than the mighty Maasai. It is perhaps surprising then to learn the traditional greeting that passed between Maasai warriors was, and I'm not sure if I'm saying this correctly, Caterina Pace. One would always say to another, it means, and how are the children? Even warriors with no children of their own would always give the traditional answer, the children are well. All the children are well means that life is good. It means the daily struggles for existence do not preclude proper caring for the young children. When we invest in the well-being of our children, families, and communities, we are creating environments that help build a strong foundation for all. Happy National Child's Day. Thank you.
This congregation has a long history of care, vitality, and bringing people together to move the arc of justice forward. We have been able to live into our hopes and dreams because of the generosity of those within and beyond this community. Whether you are here in Worship Hall or anywhere else at all, you are part of this community. To make a gift in support of the work of this congregation, you don't need to use the baskets that will soon be making their way among our pews. Wherever you are, you're invited to go to our website or contact our finance manager to find out how to make a donation or keep up with your pledge. We'd also like to acknowledge the tremendous gifts of time and talent without which this congregation could not function. Our gifts are freely given and gratefully received. We dedicate these gifts to the work of this community of faith, serving human wholeness, caring for the planet, upholding religious freedom, welcoming the stranger, and loving one another. And now, following the theme of our choral piece earlier, please rise as you are willing and able as we join together in our closing hymn, All Around the Child, which is number 1062 in our teal hymnal.
How is it with the children? Thank you again, choir. Before we begin to close this time of worship and reflection, a reminder that our online fellowship hour will begin at 11:30. For those of you who would like to access fellowship hour here, you can do so in the lounge just around out that door and to your right. There you'll be able to connect with all those joining fellowship hour from home and have discussions with those joining in person. I also want to let you know that this morning marks the return of fair trade concessions in fellowship hour after our service. After many years of faithful service, Riahainen has passed the fair trade baton to Jerry Richardson and Gary Campbell, who are, and I'm quoting here, ready to provide for our chocolate and coffee needs. With that good news conveyed, we extinguish our chalice this morning to these words by Peter Spillman-Rabel. We build on foundations we did not lay. We warm ourselves by fires we did not light. We sit in the shade of trees we did not plant. We drink from wells we did not dig. We profit from persons we did not know. We are ever bound in community. May it always be so. This is as it should be. Together we are more than any one person could ever be. Together we can build across the generations. Together we can renew our hope and faith in the life that is yet to unfold. Together we can heed the call to a ministry of care and justice. We are ever bound in community. May it always be so. This morning's chalice is extinguished. The spark of our connections and faith remains. Mariella, are you here to bless us with song? Please do.
Spirit of love, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Cool down, amen. Vides-moi de justice. Terre-nourris-moi, ciel emporte-moi. Source Dieu vie, viens vers moi, viens vers moi.
Merci. As we prepare now to leave this space, may our hearts remain open and our minds remain clear. We are people of both reason and heart, of both memory and hope. May we always remain people of love, providing a place in this world for our spirits, a place that can be called simply home. And now let us, as we return to the challenge of helping the world come alive in love, let us go in peace, my friends. Go in peace.